Fingerprints have been used throughout history to sign business contracts and identify people, but the scientific study of fingerprints, or dactyloscopy, really started in the 19th century in India with William Herschel. In 1877, Herschel introduced the idea of using fingerprints to identify prisoners, and as early as 1880, Henry Faulds published a paper suggesting that fingerprints could be used to identify criminals. Beginning in 1896, a standardized system of recording fingerprints based on pattern was developed. Each fingerprint card, called a 10 card, was imprinted with all 10 fingerprints of a person and marked with individual characteristics. Today, fingerprints are stored and available through AFIS, or the Automated Fingerprint Identification System. AFIS uses digital imaging technology to obtain, store, and analyze fingerprint data. Originally used by the FBI, AFIS is currently used by multiple agencies, including the FBI, CIA, and Interpol. To learn more about the history of fingerprinting, stop this video and explore the website. Fingerprints form before birth and do not change throughout an individual's lifetime. No two individuals have identical fingerprints because fingerprints are not controlled by genetics. Even identical twins will have different fingerprints. Fingerprints are an imprint made by the ridge patterns on the tip of the finger. They are composed of water, acids, lipids, fats, and vitamins. The water, which is 98% of the fingerprint, quickly evaporates and leaves the dried salts and organic compounds behind. Let's take a look at the anatomy of a fingerprint. The papillae, which separate the outer epidermal layer and the inner dermal layer, determines the specific friction ridges that make up your fingerprints. Sweat pores along the friction ridges release perspiration, which consists of water and organic compounds. The water evaporates, leaving behind these organic compounds, which are then collected as fingerprints. To more closely explore the anatomy of a fingerprint, pause this video and look at the cross-section of human skin. There are various types of fingerprints that can be left behind at a crime scene. Visible prints are left on a smooth surface when blood, ink, or some other liquid comes in contact with the hand and is then transferred to that surface. Plastic fingerprints are actual indentations left in some soft material such as clay, putty, or wax. Latent fingerprints are hidden prints and are caused by the transfer of oils and other body secretions onto a surface. They can be made visible by dusting with powders or making the fingerprints in some way more visible by using a chemical reaction. There are three basic fingerprint patterns: loops, whorls, and arches. Loops have one or more friction ridges that enter from one side, curve around, and then exit on the same side it entered from. Loops can be further subdivided into ulnar loops, where the opening is towards the little finger, or radial loops, where the opening is towards the thumb. Loops and whorls all have a delta, or a triangular area, and a core, or the area near the center. Whorls are fingerprint patterns, with at least two deltas and a core. Whorls can be subdivided into a plain whorl, a central pocket whorl, a double loop whorl, or an accidental whorl. An arch is the least common and simplest fingerprint pattern. All ridges enter on one side and exit on the opposite side. There are two subdivisions of arch patterns: the plain arch, which contains no deltas, and the tented arch, which is simply a more pronounced arch. Look at your own fingerprints. Use a magnifying glass if you need to. Do you have a loop, whorl, or arch pattern to your fingerprints? Pause this video to examine your fingerprints and then take the poll. What type of fingerprint pattern do you have? To complete the fingerprinting notes, turn to pages 98 and 99 in your textbook. From the 20 impressions in figure 4.13 on page 99, match the ones that are made by the same finger. In some cases, one print may appear 2 or 3 times. Some will not match. Submit this assignment on Schoology.